mean, you knew the boy's father pretty well. How well do you know the boy?
I am familiar with him.
Seems like a right idiot.
It would not be prudent of me to speak ill of our town's new ruler.
Can you speak well of him?
No.
Fair enough.
That's...
So then, regardless...
That's comforting.
So then how...
Neither confirm nor deny that.
Yeah. This is like an HR interview. Like, did he work here? Yes.
How long has he held the position? Would you rehire him?
Is he eligible for rehire?
A bout of clairvoyance must have struck. Perhaps it was Triss's wild surge. I was able to predict our last adventure instead of recap it. How awkward. Since our run-in with the angry mob, Nadoya stepped in on our behalf, a delicious meal we had, and we confronted some local riffraff. Arriving at the cathedral, hospitality gained, though to the doll's despair, Nadoya we choose for our time in Mir, Triss's dream, a prescient nightmare. Now we're caught up on my regaling tales. Hopefully another wild magic surge does not lead to poetry fails.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of PeakD&D. Forget about your bad dreams. Forget about every bad thing that happened today. Chill with us for 90 minutes and watch some D&D.
Watch our bad things unfold.
Oh yes. Watch somebody else in a much worse situation.
Yeah. Let someone who's not you make a bad decision.
Yeah, watch life shit on us.
Yeah, it's great. It's fun.
So last time, on our last episode of Life Shitting on These People, you guys began to investigate the mysterious death of the town leader. You discovered that he was having a clandestine affair with a Thavian woman. You spoke to the man who was running letters for them. And that is about where we left stuff. You met a doctor. He seemed fine.
And bad dreams was fun.
Oh, no. That didn't happen. There's no bad dreams.
Oh, okay.
No dreams, only screams. Let's see.
Right then, off we
held
go.
it. All right then. We held a guy down, broke his leg. It was awesome.
Yes.
Oh, fixed his leg. Fixed his leg.
By breaking.
First, they had to break it. It hadn't set properly. Anyway, so you guys are hanging out in a doctor's basement. Guys keep ending up in basements.
I mean, it's better than the sunlight.
Shall we to the boy king?
I suppose so.
The king boy.
Yes. Young Vlad.
To the king boy, then.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right.
But Ruben didn't have any ideas of what might have happened to the king.
No, he told you everything he knew, which is that he was making his way toward his office and heard a cleaning woman scream and run out of the room and got Spot making a hasty retreat from the premises.
And Xantis was there the whole time, too, right?
He appeared to be in the loop about all of this, yes.
I'm not sure if there's something he's not telling us, too. We didn't talk to him that much, but I don't know.
Well,
All right.
next
Off
time
we
you
go.
break your leg, you'll have a chance to chat with him.
Off we go.
Alrighty, so headed back into town, you will, let's see.
Come here and break your leg.
Probably faster to actually go around. The Iron Hall Gate is actually the closest gate. It's almost right by the governor's mansion.
Cool.
So it's a fairly nice place. It's not, insane. It's not like a castle, but it is a fairly large house. There is one tower in particular. It's not terribly, about 3 floors high probably at its highest, but it does have its own wall, and you see that it is largely guarded. There appear to be folks posted at the entrances. They're carrying big old hammers and have stylized hammers on their tabards.
Did you say that?
Darcel, how are we doing this?
I'm so proud of you.
I got it right. So, we going in all sneaky like first, or we going straight to the front door? Try that way first. Front way.
Because didn't she give us something that gives us some sort of authority?
The amulet should help us get our foot in the door, but that doesn't mean we're going
could
to be
actually
given
talk on it.
access
Of course,
to the
but
room.
at least we get through whatever this place is guarded by. All these people trying to get through, so...
So what's the? We're here to
Just
investigate
flash the
murder of
badge.
the dead guy, or like we want to pay our respects to the boy king. We brought candy. I don't know. Did you eat all of it?
No, I did not eat all of it.
If only we could bring him some mayonnaise.
Yeah, so I'll approach the gates.
All right.
Yeah.
Excuse me, fair sirs.
That's fine.
I hope so. We wish to speak to the child in mourning.
She's a cat.
I noticed that. And nothing else. What did you say?
It's quite all right. We have come here to help, and we would like to pay our respects to the bereaved.
Oh, right. Him. Yeah. Very well. You got an appointment?
I'm afraid we do not.
Oh, seems like you should have an appointment.
Can we make an appointment?
Let me get the manager. Hey. No, he wants to make an appointment. Yeah, I asked him if he has an appointment. That's why he said he... She? I don't know. He's got a weird accent.
Quentin, could you intimidate the hell out of these gentlemen, please?
I mean, unless you want me to like physically do something to them, I'm not really much help. Because that intimidation does not work the opposite of persuasion. 5e.
Well, I've lost the thread.
Yeah, I
anyway,
have no idea what.
Just a moment.
Yeah, no, I got 2 appointments.
I call this one a point. I call this one meant.
Yeah,
That's also fine.
it is though. It is.
Yeah, all right. And he just kind of steps aside.
I guess there's an opening.
How fortuitous.
Crack.
Yeah, go inside.
Yeah.
All right, go inside. You enter a nicely decorated foyer, not pretentious but nice, and you can hear the sound of a child apparently bellowing something in the down the hallway to the left.
Can we parse out what was bellowed?
You're pretty sure it said, "Stand on one foot."
I knew it.
Interesting.
As soon as I said there was a boy king, I was like, I'm gonna be the one who has to kill this kid.
Save the child murder for the climax, please.
Chapter 2. All right.
I'm just saying, already a bad impression.
Well, let's make our way down the hallway, I suppose. To this
You touched a black square. You have to spin in circles.
Is
So,
it an
making-
open door? Or
It is an
closed door?
open door. It does appear to be some sort of receiving room or some sort of like audience room. It's fairly large. Before,
Yeah, we get too far down. How much noise have we made? Has anyone noticed us in there?
doesn't seem like it. No.
We can open the door and just kind of.
No, let's just go to the tower. This kid is like visibly entertained, like.
Fair.
So, as you're coming around the corner and as Triss is having this thought, you can see what looks like the entire household staff apparently playing some sort of game.
Twister game?
No, it's not really Twister. It
Red
looks
light,
like
green light.
it looks like it's probably it's like some sort of attempt at 3D dragon chess if you don't know the rules of dragon chess.
Cool.
And he appears to just be randomly commanding people to like
Random things.
yeah, to do random things and move in random
This
directions.
is Vlad Ball, I think.
Well, perhaps we shouldn't disturb him, if you know what I mean.
I agree. Let us just go to this crime scene if we have not been noticed.
All right.
Let's see if anyone notices as you calmly sneak away from the open door. It doesn't look like anyone notices you.
All right.
Right then, off to the tower.
Let's go see a dead guy.
All right, so off to the tower. The house appears to be largely empty. It seems as though most of the staff is participating in whatever the heck that is.
Great.
Probably against their will.
And you guys, you have to, search around a bit to get the lay of your land. The layout's a little bit weird. The corridors are all a little more angular than they should be. But you do ultimately find
Southwest,
your
right.
way to the to that side of the manor, and you can see where there's a couple of nice tapestries that just depict the what is apparently the house sigil of the Strianogas.
No more tapestries with sigils.
I was going to say, let's not look at any tapestry.
Sometimes they look back.
Sometimes they do.
So you find yourself in what is clearly a private wing of the manor, and it is completely quiet in this section. So the hallway just kind of opens up into a what looks like a smaller kind of sitting room. Is probably where he entertains guests, and there is a door to the north and a staircase leading up.
I mean, check the door first, I suppose. While we're down here. I'll go look at the door.
All right. You kind of pull on the door, and it seems to be locked.
Am I the one that can do this? I think I am. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I'll pull out my thieves' tools and attempt to pick whatever lock there is.
Fair enough. Give me a roll.
I can't remember how. Is this a straight dex just with proficiency?
Dex with
Right,
proficiency
okay.
and expertise if you have it.
Woof. 12.
12. Not quite enough. You can get you feel the tumblers moving, but you can't quite get them to stick open.
Is it something I may try again, or?
You could try again. Yeah, you didn't break your lockpick or anything.
How far away are we from
A
the
little bit
main
difficult,
hall?
this one.
From where all of the stuff is
where all
happening?
that stuff's going.
Well, you can almost not hear the kid anymore. So probably a pretty good ways.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
I suppose 13 isn't something.
13 is not going to do it either.
Kick.
Yes, we went and found evidence. We even made some new ones.
Great.
Fucking worst. Fucking worst.
What you
No,
got?
you're not.
21.
21. All right, you kick the door in. And
Quietly.
you don't splinter it. You you do it right. You kick the door right at the doorknob where the frame is all attached.
You
And
almost kicked me.
It looked like you were having a little trouble. I thought
You
I'd
know,
help out.
I almost had it.
No, I get it.
All right,
This my way's faster.
you have what appears to be a linen closet.
Well, great. We can change the bedding.
You can get yourself a proper blanket now instead of the plywood one if you want to steal
Might as
from this
well.
There
guy.
are some nice blankets.
Grab yourself a quilt.
Hole. Yep.
So you have a backpack.
I do have my backpack.
I
The
just,
backpack was in the hole.
Why was everything? All my rations were in the hole.
I just start stalking upstairs,
Okay,
fed up with.
you stalk
This
upstairs.
Chicanery.
I'll follow.
All right.
I find my antics hilarious.
Okay, so you head up to the door. Up the stairs.
hidden closet?
The staircase ends in a door that also appears to be locked.
Maybe I have better luck with this door. Yes, I do. I do believe that is 21.
21. That is enough to open the lock.
See? I'm just as good as well.
Yeah, that's how you're
I just
supposed
have
to
no
do
idea
it.
why a linen closet has a lock in the first place.
Why, indeed.
Yeah, we gotta go check that out later. But let's get where we were going first.
All right.
Alrighty. So you open up the door. This appears to be this whole section of the tower is one room, and it appears to be a writing and reading sort of room. There's a writing desk. It's piled high with papers and parchments. There's a great big bookshelf that's covered in different volumes. There's something else that looks like a bookshelf, but instead of books, it's all just loose bound furled papyrus. And another staircase going up.
I believe this might be where he wrote his letters and maybe kept them. Perhaps we should look around.
I'll help you investigate.
All right.
Help? Yes, help?
Yes, roll investigation with some help.
Good thing. 17.
17. All right, that is enough to find some things.
Certainly with Ruben's help, probably, if it matters, like parsing out actual parchment, because that's what he said they wrote on.
You don't see any of the actual parchment he was talking about.
Okay.
But
Fair enough.
you see some parchment, but it's just sitting out in the open, and it says,
Yeah. Random
to
state
Antonio
letters.
the Butcher, please stop
Yeah.
please stop making everybody weirded out with your strong fillet opinions. Yeah, so a lot of it is just
On
very
letterhead.
unremarkable day-to-day correspondence. There is a lot of it.
Oh, yeah.
He was clearly very involved in the goings-on of the town.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it that's, you find some correspondence to the sheriff, and some of it is of the, hey, could you maybe loosen up on this, on X, Y, or Z for a week kind of stuff.
Well, if you've got secret letters to like a girlfriend you're not supposed to have, you're not going to keep them just out in the open.
Certainly
So
not out
you
in the open,
find a couple of things
but
here.
in a locked drawers.
Okay, so there are three missives that sort of jump out you as being potentially interesting.
Okay.
One of which you found in a hidden compartment on the
Yeah,
writing
see,
desk.
That's what I said. Like you wouldn't just, you could have a secret spot for that.
So the first one, let me scroll down to my handouts.
Ooh, handouts. Wow, Tony, you're so good at putting these handouts up.
Oh.
This is not in the Fira's own handwriting, as far as you can tell. This appears to be a letter
Oh,
he's received from someone.
Gotcha.
It reads, "My old friend, I was pleased to receive your letter despite its worrisome contents. As the old goat's grip on Thay tightens, those of us who practice the school of evocation have found our influence rapidly diminishing, and the words of a true friend are vastly preferable to correspondence from spies and flatterers. Your generous gift will help in keeping our organization afloat and ensuring the eyes of the Zulkers do not linger on your community over long. As to your question, I suspect the gradual failure of your town's cold storage is attributable to a decline in the health of its guardian creatures. I would not presume to know more of the Telthor than a Rashameni man such as yourself, but creatures of the permafrost often exhibit a kind of natural cryomancy. This accounts for their seeming immunity to the ill effects of the cold and resistance to even the potent frost magics wielded by arcanists. More subtle is the effect that such creatures have on their environment, especially in large numbers. Their own natural cryomancy maintains the environment such creatures prefer, even in environments such as yours where the temperature varies wildly with the seasons. While I find your theory of the blister's expansion to be intriguing, there is little precedent for such a curious outcome. Often these wounds knit over time, becoming smaller as the localized damage to the weave repairs itself. I think the more likely culprit is bandits or other vermin raiding the caves, encountering resistance from the guardians and thinning their numbers with violence. The steppe of Tungia often disgorges such dangerous creatures from its depths, and your Telthor may have fallen victim to such. Your letter spoke of urgency to this matter, but there is little I can do from here. I would recommend finding a replacement guardian with all haste that also supplies its own natural cryomancy. Perhaps you can persuade Xantus to take up his spells again to help in this matter. His own area of expertise differs from mine, but I recall that his skill in wizardry was prodigious. As ever and always, your offer of sanctuary is a comfort to me. More and more of my students' faces bear the pallor of undeath, as do more and more of my colleagues. The time may soon come when I must either walk that path or find a new vocation. As much as I would love to lend my expertise to the matter you wrote of, there remain a great many in Thay that require my protection. Were I to depart for your borders, circumstances would likely require that I remain there, and leave the living bereft of one of their few advocates. Long life and good health to you, and I look forward to our next meeting. It is signed only S. P.S. I am writing this in a hurry to my next appointment. Please excuse the uncharacteristic brevity of this missive.
That was brief.
Evidently.
I mean, he only signed one letter of his name. I guess he was saving time.
Hey,
They will say, we don't know. Could be a girl.
it's just S.
S.
Fascinating.
Put that in the pocket, our pocket.
So there's one letter.
Certainly keep that.
The second is much, much shorter. This appears to be written on furled papyrus.
Okay,
This letter is unsigned.
great.
We have read the bones of Bala, and the truth of your fears is known. The blister expands. This wound has become infected. Await the arrival of an Ulthor and prepare your citizens to hear her judgment.
That sounds great.
Blisters, cold sores.
We've heard that name, that word before, though.
In the last letter.
We had a blister. We heard that before, but Ulthor. Have we heard that
Ulthor.
word before?
Possibly. It's a word that you may have heard in town.
I don't recall.
I might be thinking of the Ukon, the council.
Perhaps.
All right. What's going on? What
And the third letter, this is the one you found in the secret compartment on the writing desk.
All right.
This
Right.
one is written in Ilya's handwriting.
Parchment.
Yep.
All right.
My dearest Otoya, throughout my long life I have desired only two things: to build a home for our peoples to live in safety, and to repay you for all the happiness you have given me in the twilight of my life. I pen this letter now in the full knowledge that I will fail in at least one of those endeavors. An enemy rises against our community from its home in the deep earth, one that will rip apart the fragile peace that is my life's work and devour us all if not stopped. You once vowed that you would do anything for me, and I must now invoke that vow. Stay in your home. Live. Hold close whatever happiness remains in the dark days to come. I have enclosed an item that you must keep close to you until the danger is past. Forgive me, my songbird, but I returned to the "you don't know this word." The price to save us all was too high, but I could save one. Already I can sense our enemy closing in on me, and my time in the flesh may be coming to an end. Remember me in all my failings, so that those who lead us forward will be all the wiser and all the kinder for them. Yours forever, Ilya Stryanoga.
Was this letter sealed, if you will?
It was not.
Wasn't.
And there is not any item with it.
Okay.
Looks like this letter was not yet ready to be sent.
Suppose not.
I would like to copy down the word that none of us know.
Yes. It is spelled Iaga.
Okay.
Iago.
Okay. Then I guess to
That
the
is-
upstairs.
Yep.
To the upstairs. This door is not locked.
Very well then.
Actually, let's lock that door, because the door to this room was locked.
The door to this room was locked.
Let's relock that.
Yeah, just quickly relock
and
that.
relock, yep.
There you go. Okay,
I put the door into the linen closet back.
just kind of set it up there. All right, sure. That'll.
Blew it off the hinges. I think you just like
I just cracked it open.
cracked the deadbolt.
So you guys head up the stairs, and this is where it starts to look like a crime scene.
Oh.
So this is a fairly small chamber.
Was it after we opened the door or on the way up?
After you open the door.
Okay.
All right. Within, this is clearly his bedchamber. There is a large hearth that is currently holding only ashes.
Sense.
There is a large four-poster bed, which appears to be sprayed with blood. There are blood stains by the hearth, on the bed, and around the north window. There are windows to the north, the west, and the south. You get a pretty good view of the rest of the city from here.
Anyone know a good blood spatter analysis?
Certainly not me. Quentin, you have some battlefield experience. Can you make any sense of this?
I mean,
You are the smartest of us.
well,
Well, since you put it that way.
put it that way. Is there a body in this room?
There's not. The body, as you recall, is lying in state at the cathedral.
Right.
He is underneath a sheet on the main altar,
right.
while the town comes and pays their respects. Presumably, he'll be buried after a few days.
Can we at least tell by first glance where the body was and where it was moved from?
It's
or not really.
judging from the pooling of the blood, it looks like he collapsed near the hearth.
Kind of what I thought.
Yeah, sort of between the bed and the hearth. It looks
Gotcha.
like.
And the blood sort of goes to the north windows.
Yeah, north window, the bed, and the hearth.
Yes. You can also see that the sheets and some of the drapings on the four-poster bed have been ripped. Essentially, you're not sure if it's by claws. It doesn't look necessarily gouged, but they have been torn in places.
Interesting.
There's also a pile of books in the corner and a rather overfull chamber pot.
I mean, I'm gonna check out the window to see if there's like any sign of
Entry.
ingress or egress.
All right, fair enough. Roll me some investigation about it.
Yes.
I will help.
All right.
Good thing you helped.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, we got 14.
14. Doesn't look like it doesn't look like there's any obvious signs of ingress or egress here. The windows are all closed. They're not locked, but they are closed. And the only thing you can see of interest at this window is it looks like there's like a part of a handprint on it.
Does it look human? Like,
It does. It's on the inside of the glass.
on the inside of the glass? Okay. Like just a hand. It's not like smeared or.
It's not like smeared. It's like just like a touch.
Couple fingerprints or whatever.
Yeah.
I would like to open the window and peek outside and see if there's any.
All right.
Blood on the
You
ground.
go to open the window, and suddenly you have this kind of weird lizard brain urge not to open it.
I don't want to open this window anymore.
You were gonna open the window.
Well, now I don't want to.
Well, what were you gonna open the window for?
Well, to look to see if there were bloody fingerprints on the outside.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll try to open the window.
It opens. You're not sure. You know, you don't have that momentary thought passes.
Huh.
I'm gonna look around, see if there's anything like. We're like 3 stories up. You
Yeah,
said?
you're 3 stories up in what is essentially one fairly large bedroom with lots of light.
Yeah. And there's like, is there any sign of like somebody jumping from this window or climbing up to this window?
It would be pretty challenging to do that. It looks like it's a fairly sheer drop down to the bottom.
What window is this?
This would be the north one.
Okay.
But it's pretty much the case for the east and west ones. There's a little bit of vaulting. You could theoretically climb up, but you would basically have to scale the tower from the outside to do
Gotcha.
it.
Well,
Nothing here.
now let's check out those books.
I would like to walk around, like very slowly, just walk around to the other windows and see if I don't have some sort of weird lizard brain reaction to either of those.
Doesn't seem like it,
Okay.
no. You kind of walk in a circle. However, roll me a perception check.
Being very weird around windows. What did they ever do to you?
17.
17. So you don't notice anything amiss about the windows, but you pass by a large blood stain on your way to investigate one of them, and something kind of chills you about those blood stains. they don't look. I mean, they look like a few day, a day or two old blood, but they seem wetter than they should. Like, this blood should have completely dried out and be basically a crust right now. But it still looks damp in the middle. And the color is very dark.
Now,
You found something.
this bloodstain looks super weird. Very dark, and it's still liquidy, and that's strange, because a lot of it's still crusty if you look other places. But he was talking about weird creatures from the cold spheres, and something was after him. Maybe
That's
this
quite
is
true.
bits of the something.
They had a guardian, but they don't anymore,
Yeah, so the cryomancy
or
maybe.
something. That's what that letter said. Is any of it cold? Is any of this is the
Different?
I mean, I guess it would be cold anyway. But it's just
I guess can we
Or
parse
is
out
it-
that this blood is different than his?
is it
than their
warm? I
blood?
guess. Is any of this still warm in some way?
Okay,
Like
so
liquid
you're
part?
kind of checking things out.
Yeah.
You bring yourself to touch the blood stains. I'm sure that's nothing new for Kane. But
Oh, positive.
so a lot of it, a lot of the blood that you examine doesn't seem anything off. It's cold. It's a scabrous crust at this point. However, the large blood stain on the floor near the hearth, this is the one that looks kind of liquidy in the center. Now that Triss has pointed it out, you can see it too. And you just kind of touch at the edges, and that blood feels a little bit warm.
That should not be like that. Yeah. It's like from a day and a half ago and it's still warm.
Yeah, it's not like, arterial heat, but it's a lot warmer
Like
than
lukewarm.
blood.
It's like
Yeah, it's like
lukewarm.
lukewarm. It's like,
huh?
a little less than chicken noodle
It should
soup.
all be
warm.
like room temperature or colder at this point.
Yes, of course. Must
That's
not
not
be.
right. That's not right. at
Might
all.
not be. It's probably not human. Then.
Maybe do other creatures have warmer blood?
That lasts longer.
It's
outside of the
not
body.
uncommon, but given where you are, how magical a creature could it have been?
I mean, that's a good point.
Should we-
No, I mean, can a magical creature enter a non-magical zone?
Well, yeah, it's
Just can't be. It's just kind of nerfed.
yeah, exactly. But
Right.
if its blood is magical to always be hot, maybe that would be a physiological process, or maybe that would also be magic. It's kind of hard to say.
Maybe we should.
In any event, this is not good wholesome blood here.
Good wholesome people blood.
What do we take some of it? What do we like?
It looks like it would be possible to collect. You could definitely collect some of the more solid parts if you scraped at it, and you could probably get some of the liquid, the sludgy, liquidy part of it.
Yeah. I mean, were there any vials for ink downstairs?
Yeah,
instead
there
of
were some ink
writing?
jars. You could reuse one of those.
Empty it out.
Yeah, or unless
somewhere.
if we have an empty jar.
But we got those weird magic tinctures. Too. We could pour one of those.
Weird magic
Suck one of those
tinctures.
in. Yeah. That.
Well, you have a weird magic tincture.
We have a weird magic
Oh,
tincture.
yeah, no, I'm
And the
gonna.
Dolia gave us one.
No, I'd rather use an ink jar.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
plenty
yeah, there's,
downstairs.
an
It's
empty jar.
fine.
Let's just go to the jar store.
The jar closet. You want to kick that door in too?
Yeah, no, I do. They got a jar. They got a closet full of jars. I'm kicking the door down.
Yeah. So go find a jar to collect the sample.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
You got yourself
Scoop a
one
little bit.
sample of weirdly warm blood sludge.
Is it in any way different color or is
Darker.
Do we think that this stain came from a different source than the rest of it?
It's hard to say. It doesn't look
Or is it just
terribly distinct, but if you hold it up to the light, you can see. Well, what can you see? What do you have?
my microscope.
Proficiency? Yeah, no microscopes.
Stare at the sun, Drow.
The gnomes haven't invented microscopes yet.
No.
But do you have proficiency in medicine?
I do not.
All right, fair
And
enough.
Survival.
Survival might be applicable. Roll either survival or just a straight perception, whichever's the better.
the same.
Fair enough.
Nope, that's a 3. So a 7.
Well, it looks like blood to you.
Yeah, we know a doctor. It's cool.
Which is weird.
You might have ways to test it or whatnot, or knows by sight what this blood is.
Would like to search the hearth and like poke around in the ashes and see if.
Okay.
I'll help
So
you.
you poke around in the ashes, and you feel something metallic in the ashes.
Something in there.
The item!
Yeah, I start.
You find what appears to be a dagger. It looks burnt, as though it was the hearth was alight when it was thrown in, but you can see burnt into it is more blood.
The meta weapon, it seems. Any distinct characteristics or
Great.
anything that?
Roll me a quick perception.
My inside, daylight, is that equal?
Well, you're inside. You can turn away from the sunlight to look at it.
I crawl
give
into
that
the
to you.
hearth.
I'll give it to
It's a
you.
weapon. I want to take a look. Can I help?
You can
Please.
has it.
Yeah, you could just take it.
12.
12. Alrighty. Yes. Within, there is in fact a maker's mark. It depicts a stylized hammer and the number 13219.
132.
A stylized hammer. Have we seen it? Does this look? Have we seen this around town? Maybe.
Yeah, you've seen stylized hammers all over the place. The city guardsmen wear them.
Oh.
Yeah, this is like one of the hammer hands.
Oh.
This belonged to one of them.
So it's either
Someone who's
they
associated
did
with it.
this, or someone stole this to frame.
And then hid it in a fire. They would make it a little more obvious than that.
What? I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, if they tried to get rid of it.
We're all just saying things.
I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying.
I'm just
I'm
saying.
just saying.
Don't you feel great about the adventuring party you signed up with, Tris?
Where's Meg?
We gotta go back to the closet.
Full of linens. I'm gonna laugh when the.
This time we'll kick it open from the inside.
We break out of here through the linen closet.
I love it. It's the best plan.
All right.
So this is from the
I do
city
want to
guard.
take a look at those books and then see if there's anything else.
Yeah, we
in
should
this
search
room.
the room in general as well.
All right. So you're looking at the book specifically. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Those of you who are investigating the room, roll investigation for the room.
What's yours?
Trash.
I mean, mine's the same because I get another one.
Investigation?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm good.
Yeah, but you were looking through the book titles, right,
Yeah,
Kane?
I'm doing the books.
All right. So,
Oh,
Kane.
through. Did find a secret compartment down there.
So it appears as though mostly these are books of fiction.
Okay.
There's a book of Rashomani fairy tales. There's another book of Rashomani fairy tales. There's a novel thoroughly dog-eared by one Edward of the Green Wood, apparently talking about some sort of drow ranger. That's not actually Ed Wood, but Ed Greenwood. That's R.A. Salvador. Sorry. Tell me in the comments how much of a Philistine I am.
No, I
Drive that engagement, folks.
some other weird stuff. You know, it's just
Yeah.
boring,
It appears
boring,
to,
read it, not as good as it was hyped up to be.
one of them appears to be a dog-eared copy of a tome called The Manual of the Plains. Written by some sort of crazed academic who could swear he's been to other planes of existence. Yeah, right.
Junk.
And there's also what appears to be a cheesy bodice-ripping romance novel.
Ooh,
What'd you find
that's
there?
intriguing.
The Lusty Argonian Maid.
What did you find over there?
Hey, man.
It's a good one. It's for late night reading. It's my
Oh.
naughty letters. I'm gonna look through it.
All right, well, it's
Like
Titillating.
There's no nothing hidden in the pages like the
no, like if you do a flip through, no, you find a bookmark, but that appears to be it.
This was
What?
the murder weapon.
No, we already found the murder weapon, Kate.
You think they were?
Quentin.
I would like to say
You're
whichever
doing it, Watley.
fairy tale book is the most used, and just try to flip it to the most. What if it says how like what the most read story is? And you know how if you like open a book enough, like it'll naturally open to like. The,
As it happens, there is a most read section of this. It appears to be
A lot of oily smudgy
the story of little Sonia and the it's that word you don't know. The IAGA.
okay.
Aga?
The Iaga, or whatever it is, appears to be a trickster witch, far older and more powerful than the witches of Rashomon. Basically, the little girl has made an enemy of one of the witches of Rashomon and is looking for someone who can protect her. The story details how she runs out into the forest at night, carrying only a charm that her grandmother gave her for protection, and wound up outside of a massive hut standing on 2 chicken legs. And that within, she found the hideous old witch who set her to do many impossible tasks that the girl achieved through her cleverness and determination, and ultimately received a horn, like a drinking horn from the Yaga, which is what we'll just call it, just randomly. And the witch told her to blow that horn in the direction of her enemy. And when she blew the horn back at home, a dozen stalwart berserker warriors jumped out of the horn and beat the witch with sticks and threw her in a lake. And this is a happy ending in Rashomon fairy tales.
Okay.
You know, we really start to think about the implications of these stories. They're just like really weird. You know what I mean? Like it's like questionable morality. It's not like teaching a child a lesson about things. It's just like, yeah, this weird shit happens. You know what I mean?
To be fair, this is some weird shit happening to us.
I mean,
So it seems like, though, that token that he wanted to give is what? Something of the horn, then, in this fairy tale?
No, that doesn't seem to track.
maybe he just likes it. I don't know. Look,
Well,
keep an eye out for a cool horn like that.
Clearly, it did not work. Whatever trinket he was given did not keep him alive, and he did not seem to make out to get it to her either.
Which means he might still be here.
Well,
Or it was taken.
perhaps it's in the chamber pot.
I was thinking more.
Do you do that? I'm just gonna.
No, me. No, I was not.
It's
All right.
overly full.
I just was picturing Kane doing that.
Yeah. How full was an overly full chamber pot? Like, how many days was he up here?
Yeah.
Probably a few, judging from the state of it. It's more, the liquid contents appear to have somewhat evaporated, which is probably why the room smells the way it does.
Yeah, I mean,
But
there's
the
a lot
solid
of
contents are abundant
Interesting.
and also kind of liquidy and gross.
I'm gonna
But
get
it is
I'm
a
gonna get
chamber pot.
Is there a fire poker by the
Yeah,
hearth?
yeah, totally.
Poke through.
Squelching around in it, you find no cool things.
All right.
But you do notice that the contents of the chamber pot are also streaked with dark blood.
This guy was not healthy. like
Interesting.
like within the contents
Within
itself,
the
like-
poop, yes.
Okay, yeah,
Dude had blood in his stool.
that is not good. That is not good.
Homeboy had blood in his
Ate a lot
stool.
of corn too. Very weird. I mean, this is like 70% corn. I'm not gonna lie.
It has the juice.
All right.
Yeah.
So he was probably ill before this, I guess, but he was up here a long time, at least a week or so,
Yeah.
without anybody emptying this pot or throwing it out that window, I guess.
Circling back around to investigation check of the room
Yes.
would help.
What did you have for that?
Natural 20.
That's pretty great.
Ooh.
Indeed.
There's nothing else in this room.
There's nothing here. Did you find anything in the chamber pots except for corn and blood?
For corn and blood.
This guy was not having a good day.
Coming out, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I'm curious to see the wounds on the body when we get back to the temple.
Also true.
Yeah.
If we're able to see that. Well,
I want to check out. I
I
think
suppose we
might
should
wanna
check out the
that
bed
closet.
then, right?
Well, the bed, yeah, but like we've already looked in this room.
No, but like we've sussed out the window with blood and the hearth with blood. We haven't like actually.
And the curtains and stuff. We should check. That.
Yeah. No,
Actually,
checking
like,
the sheets, it appears to
the
be
bed.
blood spray. And you can tell
Parse
that.
out how the things were cut or how they were ripped.
All right,
The dagger, I guess.
Yeah, actually. So.
That would be my first inclination, is the dagger. Try to stab and like rip you through.
You don't see, I'll tell you this, you don't see anything that looks clean, like a blade was plunged into
It's
it.
all
and-
loose threads on the
Yeah,
side,
it
frayed
looks-
and all that kind of stuff.
It looks like it was ripped.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting.
Not like cut. It looks like it was torn
Huh.
in a
Claws or
couple of different places.
No, not claws, he said.
Now, it doesn't look like it's too. If they were claws, they were extremely blunt claws.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like anything like a determined fingernail couldn't do, or like somebody grabbing the sheets couldn't do if they wanted to.
Huh. Okay. Curious.
Sheets or pillows are they the same sort of torn apart? And
They're not all torn apart.
Just parts
It's
of them.
torn in a couple of places. It's like mostly up toward the head of the bed, and it's mostly to the left and right of on the left and right side.
Like
Most of the
someone
damage you can see is like
of the
on the canopy, essentially.
Gotcha.
Some of the the sheets are like torn in a couple of places too, but yeah, it looks like it was probably a couple of different times something tore these.
Huh.
The mattress
having
is
some really bad dreams, I guess.
the mattress is some of the feathers are just kind of like pouring out of one of the larger rips in it, but it appears to be like flattened down quite a bit as well, as though there was a heavy weight or there was a weight on it for a long period of time.
Like more than a man, and or maybe a partner.
I mean, it seems like
Something that put the bed under strain.
something put the bed under strain.
I wonder what that could have been.
Maybe he was a big man, like a really big man.
His body is on display.
How big was that sheet?
I'm afraid.
California King.
You know what? Speaking of sheets, let's go check the linen closet.
Let's go check the linen closet again.
We didn't check it out. We just opened it.
I'm not sure. I think we've discovered everything there is to discover up here.
Except for the linen closet.
Yeah, maybe we should go check it out.
Would like to go investigate the linen closet?
I would.
Excellent.
All right.
Roll investigation.
I shall help.
Help me look around here. That'd be great.
Look
I
around,
appreciate
Kane.
you.
Yeah, look around.
I
King.
appreciate
keep
you,
looking
Docile
and
Jones of Jaguar. Hell yeah. 22.
Ah, there's a secret door in the linen closet.
that's why it was locked. Oh, this is probably how Reuben got here.
Leads into a dark hallway.
This is probably what Reuben got.
Oh, is it? Does this come in the back way?
Probably.
Well, let's look around for some things.
Indeed. Follow the hallway.
Yeah, I guess we'll go in the hallway looking out for, like, I don't know,
Traps.
traps and things. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can roll investigation as you go.
I guess he would have told us if it was.
Probably, but maybe Reuben's a dick. Who knows?
Maybe this is a different secret. There's 2 secret passages. Who knows?
19.
That's also
19.
true.
No, it does not appear trapped. It's pretty cramped. You have to stoop a couple of times to get through.
Single
But
file, I'm assuming.
yeah, it'll be a single file travel, but you guys file on through,
Yep.
and a couple of minutes later, you can see daylight coming out the other side.
Well, that's how he was coming and going.
It must be.
Yeah, let's keep going.
I'm
Is
just
it-
curious about that. Like, he hadn't sent that letter yet. Do you
Yeah,
think
it
he
was
gave
already-
whatever it was to Reuben?
I don't know. If that would be
Like-
the case.
No. So, I mean, other people
Reuben
were
didn't
in
know.
this room. Somebody came and took the body away.
But
So whatever he had, if it looked valuable or odd
Useful
or
or-
exotic or could easily have been absconded with by somebody
has
else.
the boy been in here? Do we know?
I believe so. I think he's the only one that's been in there, or no? Is that true?
Someone
The
had to
boy
come
did
get
not
the dad.
carry the body out
The
himself.
boy did
No.
not carry the body
Yeah, it
out.
was
No.
The maid is the one that found him. People have been in and out of this room. It's just been on lockdown since then. And we don't even know what we're looking for.
Oh, you said a thing.
Well, you got a burnt knife and a inkwell full of blood.
Well, if we
And
follow,
some letters and leads.
Some letters and leads.
if we follow the, I'd like to, like, before we turn back, I guess, or if we're leaving out this secret passageway, I'd just be curious to get out of the secret passageway just for a
Yeah.
minute.
So getting out of the secret
Just to
passageway.
see where, if it was the southwest corner like you told us.
Yes, it does put you on the southwest side of the grounds. It looks like a small garden. There's a couple of benches set up, and there's a fountain nearby.
Did that track with Ruben's description?
It did.
Okay.
Yeah, this does appear to be the passage that Reuben used.
Yes. I just want to make sure it led out to the right.
I say we
Imagine if
find-
you'd found that secret passage without talking to Reuben first. All the red herrings that would be jumping out in your mouth.
So many red herrings.
You want to look at we're on the ground floor now, I take.
You're outside. Yeah,
Yeah.
you are on the
I want to
grounds.
see like below them windows and see if anything.
Guess from below to above, but
I mean, I think this was a success. We should go drop this blood off to the doctor, and we should go examine the body and hope that we just got away with this.
yeah. Let's
Yeah,
get
that
out of
boy
here.
didn't exactly seem like someone I wanted to talk to. right
No, I don't
no.
think all this candy is going to do much.
All right, I like that idea. Let's go see what Xantus has to say.
Alrighty, back to Xantus then.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right. He is not seeing a patient this time when you get there. He is just.
I wanted to hold something else down.
Yep, he appears to be just grinding up some herbs, and he's surprised and excited to see you again so soon.
Yes. Hello. Again.
This is Watley and Darcel.
Yes,
And
you
Indeed.
I am Quentin.
mentioned that haltingly. Might
Just
I
want you
be?
to know I still remember who I am.
He forgets.
Good for you.
sometimes. It's okay.
Your friend is slow. I have a tincture for that.
He's all right.
So,
We seem to have we struck a bit of luck at the manor. We're able to investigate the crime scene.
Oh, good. What did you find?
Well, very curious things, but one being this. And I give him the blood.
The
vial.
blood ink.
Yeah. So we took a sample of blood, and it doesn't seem, I don't know, I guess human? It seems different. It was warm, lukewarm to the touch. and it's
Lukewarm to the touch.
Still liquid. When it should have easily been dried out.
I should say so.
It
At
was
least 2
quite-
days in the untouched, and it was still liquid. You say?
It was, and we also found another curious thing about it. In the chamber pot,
how long has your friend been sick?
there was blood. in it.
Sick. I heard nothing of the sort. I saw him only a week before he died. He looked hale and healthy to me.
'Cause we certainly found some blood in the chamber pot.
The contents of the chamber pot would beg to differ.
Oh dear.
And
I
it was
don't
the
know why
same-
he wouldn't have come to me for help.
It was the same viscous blood that you hold there, it seems. I mean, as much as we looked, we didn't go too far, but
Poor man.
That blood was cold. It wasn't like it was mixed in feces, but it wasn't like hot. Was it?
No. Well, did you stick your hand in it? But
Yes, we did. I
but you said it was
did.
darker than, I guess.
it was dark, but
Yeah.
probably like
Because of
partially
that.
digested
Fair
blood
enough.
dark,
Okay,
Yeah,
or
okay.
bleeding in the
GI,
intestine
yeah.
dark. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff.
And that chamber pot was overflowed too, so it didn't seem like many people, maybe what, 3 to 7 days perhaps, that someone didn't check that and empty it?
He-
So certainly he was keeping something secret, or he was held there against his will.
Very curious indeed. The last person I know saw him before his death was Reuben. 3 days before he died, he was given another letter. 3 days. The chamber pot was over full, you said.
It was pretty darn full. Poked around it.
Certainly not.
Couldn't have been healthy. Thank you for bringing me this blood. I'll examine it. I'll consult some references on the matter. If indeed he was ill, then carry on. I have a
No, please.
request.
I was going to take it in a different direction, so you speak your mind.
I think that an examination of the body is in order. There are enough questions in my mind that it would be prudent to examine him in more detail.
Have you seen the body? We're curious about the wounds that were on it.
I saw the body only when they brought it in to lay him in state. He had a single large wound on his chest. He appeared to have been stabbed, and several smaller wounds as well on his arms, on his sides. Looks like scratches or perhaps slashes from some sort of creature. I didn't examine him in detail. It was challenging to see him that way.
Sure. And who retrieved the body?
Let's see. It would have been Dorgan's men, the Hammerhands. They were called when the housekeeper began yelling murder. They brought him directly to the cathedral, and Nadolia washed his body and made it presentable. I wish that she hadn't now. If only I could have examined him in more detail.
Indeed.
We might yet understand that I am going to make a request of you here that may put you at odds with Nadolia's values.
Is that our gracious?
That is your host, yes.
Okay. Cool.
There is a tradition that leaders' bodies lie in state, untouched, for 4 days. That would be 2 more days.
Okay.
I am suggesting that for the good of this investigation, that time be truncated. I would like the opportunity to perform an autopsy. A bit of the Kyrgen's art, to examine him in detail and beneath the skin if the clues warrant it.
You think something might have been attacking him from the inside?
I wouldn't rule it out. Clearly he was suffering physiologically. Perhaps it was some sort of curse then. Well, would be uncommon.
How does that work in a place where there's no magic? Are curses magical?
Almost exclusively, yes, but
Powerful enough stuff?
I-
That way.
oh, this is... How do I boil this down in 4 minutes?
Oh, is that where we're at time-wise?
No.
Oh, cool.
No, we've got a little time.
Oh, sweet.
But it's like, well, a dead magic zone is not an impervious barrier to the art. An exceptionally powerful creature, or one that draws their power from non-traditional sources of magic, might be able to perform such an act. Someone who could get one of Nadolia's tinctures that she doesn't think I know about. Even a single spell could have done something dreadful to him and weakened him, made him vulnerable. I think that it would only help us to know more about how he died. Nadolia will not readily agree to this. She is extremely protective of the Thavian traditions.
Isn't there ways to, talk with dead people? Could we ask him directly?
Possible. But I would not be able to perform such an act. I burnt my spellbook long ago.
Ooh.
Well, you don't do magic. You can't do magic.
No.
If you, weren't here.
No, I put that part of my life behind me.
And perhaps, since we are talking about concessions here, that is off the table. For the greater good of this community, there's no way for you to reclaim your lost talents at the art.
Not without resources that I lack. And To say nothing of the fact that spirit calling, as the Rashomani call it, is only performed by certain qualified practitioners. And I do not think we have one of those here.
Not even a Wicklon can't do that?
Not all of them, as I understand it. To commune with the spirits of the land is the birthright of the Wicklarn, but to commune with the spirits of the dead, that is considered more dangerous and exclusive to certain specialists in their field.
Changing the questions, the line of questioning just a bit. This paramour of the late Fura.
Yes.
Tell me about this woman.
Tell me about what?
This woman.
Atoya.
Atoya. Yes.
Would she be amenable to speaking to us?
I don't doubt that she would. She's been quite a friendly person. Do me a favor and roll some insight. Anybody can roll insight if they want.
That's good, because I got a 6.
All right, fair enough. I prompted you to do it because you're probably the most streetwise, but
12?
12? No.
11.
I have no additional information to share at this time.
Outstanding.
No, she
further
was
questions,
a Thavian noblewoman before she left our homeland. She, well, by all accounts, she's done good works here.
What is her work that she does?
Well, she's a dowager. She has money from her late husband. She used it to come here, and she makes her living doing good works, I suppose.
A philanthropist, I suppose you'd say.
I would. You're an erudite man. Yes, philanthropist. Sorry, I tone down my language quite often here. I find it helps communicate with the locals better.
Fair enough.
To not arouse suspicion, to you get people talking about perhaps she being related in any way to the late deceased. Can we think of a good reason why we might go visit Atoya?
Tell me, are you... You've seen much of our community's tensions in your short time here.
Yeah, we
And
kind of walked right into it.
it is not lost on me that when offered hospitality by either faction, you sided with the Rashomon folk. And I understand that. She intervened in an unfortunate situation on your behalf. Can you tell me, truthfully, that you harbor no ill will toward the Thavians?
I mean, I cannot abide by the slaves that your people regularly take.
Ah, yes, a conscientious objector. You can rest assured that no one here is involved in such practices.
Kind of seems like that's why they left, but it's we didn't know that when we got here.
No, indeed not. I can hardly expect you to be a student of two nations' history, but
Of all the ones that I've met, I have no ill will towards any of them.
There's no one in this town that we have ill will toward.
I mean,
to
we
the
just
best of
got
my
here.
knowledge, we walked in on a very unfortunate day.
indeed. If you were to tell Atoya that you came to stargaze, she may be willing to at least meet with you.
Hobby of hers?
Yes.
Good thing I rolled a 12, because I have no idea what's going on.
So then I
All right. We're
So
gonna
then
go
I
look at the
assume-
sky.
Alright, gonna go look at stars.
that would be an evening appointment.
I would suggest meeting then, yes. It would be quite suspect if you were to come at
Middle of the day.
What
Where's
time
the
is it?
stars, babe?
11:30 in the morning.
Maybe we can go look at his body.
Perhaps we should have booked this tour at night.
I think that's a good idea.
I mean, you knew the boy's father pretty well. How well do you know the boy?
I am familiar with him.
Seems like a right idiot.
It would not be prudent of me to speak ill of our town's new ruler.
Can you speak well of him?
No.
Fair enough.
That's
So then,
that's
regardless.
comforting.
So then, how?
Neither confirm nor deny that.
Yeah. It's like an HR interview. Like, did he work here? Yes.
How long has he held the position? Would you rehire him?
Is he eligible for rehire?
I mean, well, this does not bode well for the continuation of your fair community, regardless of this situation.
It is
So-
my hope that his Ukon might steer him in a sensible direction. The child is unprepared.
Isn't that aren't you like an advisor to the
I am.
Fira?
He has refused to meet with his Ukon the past several days.
Yes, he seems to be very busy.
Is he close to anyone on the Ukon? Like Hammerhead?
Close to anyone
Hammerface?
at all?
He doesn't. I would love to tell you that someone has his influence, someone sensible, even that dotard of a sheriff.
Slammerhammer.
But I don't think anyone has ever successfully wrangled the young man. He
Makes
is
sense.
strong-willed and adamant and, well, rather dull, if you'll forgive the
that's-
bluntness.
That tracks. I'm not sure I know much about this Slammerhammer guy.
Other than that, he didn't like us.
The sheriff, he did not like us that much.
No, and I find it suspicious that there used to be 4 people on the council, and he bought out the 4th, and now there are 3.
That was a grave oversight on our part.
Seems like quite the power grab.
I have met a great many men in my life, and Dorgan Shatterhelm is one of the most power-hungry.
Seems to be a bit obsessive too. You know, numbering all his men's.
Oh,
armor
yes,
and
he's
stuff, right?
a tediously detail-oriented man. Always lists and ledgers and numbers. I can't deny his business acumen, but
There's
it's
gotta be some kind of
it's
record.
dreadfully uninteresting to hear him talk.
Seems like it. Seems like it.
There must be the record keeper for his. Where, if we were to want to find the good sheriff, where would we go about doing?
You would want the block. That's his manse. On the northern side of town, just a little bit east of the Witch's Way, and the gate into the city from there. It's the somewhat understated manor, actually. He's got a hammer on his door, but I think that's his only concession to decorative.
Well,
Good to know. I think we should depart and see about this. What would you call an autopsy, perhaps?
If you can persuade Nadoya, I would be grateful. I would not feel comfortable doing this without her endorsement.
Does she
At
have a-
least not at this stage.
Does she have a proclivity to justice?
Well, I can say that she cares for the town and that she cared very much for its ruler.
Perhaps we use that.
do you like
Angle.
justice? Do you like justice? Hell no, I don't like justice.
I don't like justice.
I'm lukewarm on it, yeah.
She
I
is
mean,
not
to-
in charge of enforcing our laws, but
To overrule the 4-day thing, like to overrule basically.
yeah, to
religion.
break a tradition,
Yeah,
essentially.
how like, judicious is she in her
She is
pretty friggin' religious.
quite protective of her people's traditions. She fears that they will be lost in this community if they are not preserved.
This community
It's going
seems
to be a
bit
hard
lost
sell,
in general.
but we'll do our best.
If you can succeed in this, it would be a great help to me, and it would help me content myself that I had some small part in the undoing of my friend's murderer.
Would, I mean, how, like, if she's not going to go for an autopsy, would she at least let you examine the body, or is that, like, against the
A proper examination is not out of the question, and I'm prepared to accept that as an outcome.
Okay.
There is only so much that the skin can tell,
Yep.
and it would never be as much as I could learn if I were permitted to peer beneath it. But if all I can do is perform an examination, I am prepared to content myself with that.
This, friend of yours, I mean, do you have any, like, I mean, he was a pretty in-charge, large guy, like, you know, does he have any, like, special items or things that he would like to be interred with, I assume? I don't know if there's...
It's my understanding that there's some sort of ritual surrounding burial. It's not my culture. I don't really know much about it, but I would assume that the executor of his estate will have handled that, made those preparations.
If he had, like, you know, valuable items of, you know, personal interest or just, you know, treasures or something.
Oh,
like
his
that,
personal effects, yes. Those would be in the hands of his castellan.
Who is that?
Let me check my notes. Dimitri, yes.
Dimitri.
The much put upon castellan of the house. I can only imagine he has his hands entirely full with young Vlad.
Indeed.
Well, thank you, Xantos. We appreciate all your time.
I hope that it's been of some use to you. Please let me know what Nadolia says and whether I can be of any assistance.
Yeah, there's probably a real sarcastic tone to the way I said that, too. It's like, thank you for all your time. Just gotta remember, not -2 to my charisma.
-2.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on the way back, how much do we trust Xantos? Because I mean, we totally found that letter about all that crazy Thayan shit.
Well, and to be,
He seems to be in... there's more than he's letting on to that woman.
well, to be quite honest, too, I wasn't so sure. Like, I'm just not sure. But I didn't mention the dagger that we found either.
No, I know. That's why.
Yeah, none of us did. I
Yeah,
think that was a good
that's
move.
fair. Probably reasonable to not go shouting everything's from the rooftop
Well,
at
we
this
did,
point.
we
we
did
gave him,
confirm
like,
that, like,
we
there's
gave
probably
him-
a record of who that belongs to. Or at least who it belonged to.
We gave him the doctor things to do. Like, he's the only one in town that could do the blood thing, so. But
But maybe he knows where that blood came from and he didn't want to say anything about it.
possibly. But might as well hold some cards
Do
to
we-
play, though.
Do we feel okay with him cutting open the tyrant?
I'm fine.
I don't care.
I don't care.
However, we are going to see the magic person next, so perhaps she can illuminate what some of these words mean. The
Perhaps.
cryomancy and the blight, the blister,
Iaga.
Iaga, and the like.
Yeah.
Who are we seeing now?
We're going back
Midjourney.
to Nadolia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
To Nadolia!
And the body.
And the body.
You find
Maybe
the body and Nadolia much as you left it. Praying and lying dead, respectively.
Lying dead and praying respectively.
Or one of
We
those.
have a problem.
Oh no, the incredibly pious zombie killed Nadolia.
My thought about asking about who might have his stuff is like if that
Yeah,
item
no,
that was
that was
supposed to
a-
go to her was
That was a good point.
maybe
Might
it's
be with the Castellan, yeah.
somewhere there.
That was a very,
Dimitri.
Yeah.
very good piece of information.
Every
if we
once in a
want
while
to
I
go
have a
down
good
that
idea.
road. All right.
Let's see what she wants. Let's see how agreeable she is to letting us cut this guy up.
Well,
Us? None.
Perhaps
Doctor,
we don't
maybe.
lead.
I can
Perhaps
help.
we don't lead with that.
No. You need to talk.
You're the persuasive one.
Well, she's in the church praying. whoever feels social, go ahead and roll some social skills.
How did we? How did we leave her again?
So we were gonna go check on things.
We're just gonna go
Yep.
do some investigation. All right.
So we should, before we go there, let's lay out the ground rules. We don't mention the paramour. We don't mention
Nope.
the dagger. We just talk to her about magic stuff. And the Rashmani things and words we don't understand.
Yeah. Are we gonna?
Do we
ask
mention?
her about
Did we
it.
mention that we got to investigate this crime scene? Just like we did? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So we mentioned that, but don't mention the specifics
And then, like,
necessarily, unless they come
and
up.
then, like, if she knows anything, if she examined the body in any way, what her insights
Or if
are.
she can speak with the dead, or know someone who can. That was a great idea, by the way.
Yeah.
What?
Speak with dead.
Oh yeah, that was my idea.
Was it? I don't know.
Certainly was my idea.
They just said magic, and I was like, well, if we could ask this dude directly who
Yeah.
killed him, that'd be great. That'd cut a lot of time out of the chapter. I'm kidding. But it would be cool if we could ask. I mean, maybe she knows something about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Might be good to ask.
All right, so yeah, then I'll walk up and do my best to respectfully interrupt her prayers. I'm like hand on the shoulder.
She like clearly finishes a thought and turns up to you. Ah, welcome back. Do you have anything to share with me?
Oh, do we have a lot to share with you? First, may I peek under the cloth? We were able to get into where the crime scene, where the crime happened, and we learned some things. But being able to see the body might help with the investigation.
The body is to be left undisturbed for another 2 days. It must lie in state before his people.
Undisturbed, so not even a tiny peek or touching of the cloth.
It's a bit morbid, don't you think?
I mean, putting a sheet on it is disturbing it in some way. Right? I mean, moving it is disturbing it. Logically, just following that word. I mean,
Has anyone ever told you you're a very abrasive man?
It's a quiet taste.
Your friend is somewhat uncouth.
Oh, Nadoya. Perhaps later you and I could share a bottle of wine and I'll tell you some stories.
I haven't broken into our fine plum wines. You will like this one, I promise.
Well, that is all right. If you are reticent to let us even look at the body,
It's not that I'm reticent, you understand, but there are certain rites that must be observed for him to pass freely into the afterlife.
traditions and beliefs, I understand.
His soul must return to Mother Bala.
The blister. Does that mean anything to you?
The blister? Oh, yes, that is what we call the dead magic zone around the city.
And some caves? Perhaps it is growing, or there is some
Growing?
bubble. Okay.
Such a thing would be madness. The author must be told at once, if so.
Author. What is that word?
Ah, a wizened one. One of the higher-ranking members of the Wiclarn. Their word is law in Rashomon.
Interesting. And the name Iaga? Does that mean anything to you?
Ah! You speak that creature's name in a holy place. I am sorry. Again, you are new here.
There's a lot about this place we don't know what's going on.
Perhaps you understand, but that is not a name to be uttered lightly. That is the Great Witch, the Unbound One, who lives outside the sight of Mother Bala.
Interesting.
But that's different than the unseen one, right? That's
Oh, the hidden one. No, that is the Lady of Mysteries, our goddess of magic.
yeah, okay. I was just following.
Keep track.
Learning
Your
things.
suspect list, of course.
Yeah, no, just like
Oh, updating the wiki. Yes, go right ahead.
probably a god who did it.
That was God. God did it.
Act of God. Is that covered in your laws? I don't know.
Depends on the god.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds like a. I mean, I don't. Again, no offense. It sounds like a kid's story. Like,
If the perhaps you will discover while you are here that our children are not like the children in other places. They are smarter. They know to be afraid of the things that lurk outside the understanding of men like Xanthus. The Yaga is not to be trifled with. She barters with men for the things they need most. Things that bring them ruin in the end, or so the stories say.
That's pretty morbid. Is there so your boss is an Othor?
Ah, yes. The Othor, when I left Rashomon to join this community, I believe it was, oh, blast it, it's been so long.
But he's not here. They're not here, that person.
Oh no, the
You don't
Othor
have one.
very seldom leave the nation of Rashomon. They are its leaders, and they advise the Iron Lord on the rulership of secular matters. If an Othor were to come here, that would mean that something is very, very wrong in the community.
Well, thank goodness for that.
Indeed. Although perhaps one day I could aspire to become an Othor if my faith is strong enough.
I believe in you. I think you could do a great job.
Well, thank you very much. I take back all of the nasty things I was going to say about you when you left.
I knew you would. You come to love me, you know.
Till he kicks another door down.
In my defense, I was left unsupervised.
Okay, but that is a patent lie. I was standing right by. Oh, you were right.
You're not my supervisor!
Oh, we've moved on now.
We've moved on.
Yeah, well,
We've gotten off the mark.
what?
We can't move to the next series.
Caves? Where? Caves outside of town by this.
Caves outside of town.
zone.
Huh? The ground outside of town is quite inhospitable to caves. It is frozen most of the year. All of the year if you go deep enough. Oh, that is why, perhaps, you are referring to our cold storage, perhaps.
Yes, cold storage.
Yes, we store grain, meats, perishable things. Somewhere, it's a little far out on the east side of town, north of the Iron Hall Trail. About an hour outside of town.
Who's in charge of that?
Currently young Vlad.
Oh, so like the king is in charge of
Well, it's considered,
Fira, sorry.
well, the Fira is in charge of stewarding his people through crises, and part of that is making sure we have enough food stashed away, to weather if the Tungians attack us, or if, God help us, if Thay marches on us. Yes, he maintains it for emergencies in the town.
And if we wanted to see that place, could we?
I do not see why not, especially if you think it might lead you closer to the truth of the Fira's death.
I'm just...
It certainly may.
Well,
But-
yes, just past the borders of the blister, you will find it. When you feel the magic in you again, you'll know you are close.
Good to know. Can
So-
y'all think of any other questions?
Yeah. I mean, like, so your job is to just put this guy, Ilya Sedrankarachov, in here, like, and just do that. You don't, like, look at it. You didn't, like, examine him.
No, I watched
See
him when he came.
Yeah, so you got pretty close.
Well, yes, I prepared him.
Could you tell he was sick?
Sick.
Yeah, he's sick as a dog.
Oh, he had a gaping chest wound. I assumed
Yeah,
that
no,
was the
that's
problem.
That's like icing on the cake, but like, dude was pooping blood for a long time, a couple days before he died.
Oh.
That seems like unhealthy in general.
Oh. You are saying that he might be hazardous.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's
It's
possible.
quite possible.
We sure don't want to expose the entire town to that to come to pay their respects.
You've seen this bloody stool with your own eyes?
And
Indeed
my
we
own
have.
fire poker, yes. I mean, it might be something to get the doctor's opinion on. I don't know.
Well,
But if it's contagious or it's putting you or your people here at this temple in danger, that might be. something at least to confirm or not. I don't know. I'm just a big dumb.
I would sooner cut off my own left breast than ask that man to come in and perform an examination. But he might be more amenable to the news if he hears it from you.
I mean, I'll be respectful. He will be respectful. We could ask him.
We spoke to him earlier today, and he seems to be a very ornery man, but I feel like we could probably talk some sense into him.
If you think you can persuade that idiot, then fine. I will perform some rites to keep ill winds and foul humors at bay here. But I suppose it would be advantageous. I would hate to be responsible for any of my people getting sick. Very well. This is against my better judgment, but he may perform an examination of the body, if you can persuade him to do it.
We'll see what he has to say. I have ways of making people do what I want.
Well. If you have, don't try not to get violent with him, but if you do, make sure he doesn't make it to the next meeting.
What? Yeah. This Hammer Time guy.
Oh, Shatterhelm.
Yeah.
Stop.
Slammer Man.
Hammer time.
Stop. Hammer Time. I mean, he's on the council with you, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. What's your take on him?
Now, he is a strange one. I think he said something about, well, he left his former homeland, something about finding it insufficiently structured. He is a shrewd businessman, I can say this for him, but he is, I think, a little too comfortable holding the reins of any community he's in. My guess would be that he will try to use this situation with young Vlad to try and grab as much authority for himself as possible.
Yeah, what did you call it? A power grab?
I did.
Ah, a delightfully evocative term. I will remember that one.
It's yours.
And
Well-
this, does this your cold storage has to have some kind of like? Do the people watch it? Like, is it guarded by?
It is typically guarded, but it is honestly the sort of task that falls to the less experienced guards. It is considered a safe duty as long as the daylight is still out. Nightfall in the steppe can be hazardous. It's not watched at nighttime.
But who watches it? Is the hammerhand?
Oh,
guards?
typically yes. It would be them, or usually they're one of their newer and less experienced members.
All right. Well, we'll go talk to the doctor, and then maybe we'll go. What? It's got to be getting a little later, right, in the day.
Let's see here.
Lunch
Midday? I don't
time.
know.
Walk back. Yeah, it's about 12:30, I think, at this
Yeah,
point.
midday.
Alright.
All right.
Still midday.
So doctor and then to cold storage.
I think so.
I like it.
Dr. Cold Storage. All right, works for me.
Dr. Cold
That
Storage.
is a cool name.
Dibs. All right. Back down the red way to Santos.
I think his taste.
So she agreed to an examination, not an autopsy.
She did not agree to an autopsy. You're pretty sure that's a nuance that she would definitely
Yeah. I
take
was like,
as
I
a
was
measure
pretty
with.
sure.
The first step, though.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, it's a compromise, right?
Indeed.
I want another of those anus toffees.
Delightful.
I would
Again,
have to say though, it seems like there might be a little bit of motive with Shadow
no,
Hammer.
I agree with you, but also
Just a little.
I mean-
it wasn't.
we don't know how sick he. I mean, perhaps they were doing a mercy. Perhaps the evil was inside him. Perhaps he
Perhaps.
was possessed. I mean, we don't know. The dagger may have killed him, but that might not have been.
He might have ripped his own headboard and sheets and bed curtains
Yeah.
We don't know.
himself. Maybe he looked like he was going through something. And nobody knows what happened those last few days because nobody was there.
But
It seems that way.
we can try to find the name to go with the number of that dagger.
That's very
There's the
true.
maid, and I feel like when we get to Cold Story, we should just be like, yeah, Dimitri sent us to investigate and make sure everything's here.
Yeah,
There you go.
That's
I like it.
that's a
yeah,
great
at the very least, you have a plausible cover story.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, with that, folks, we are about to head back in to talk to Mr. Dr. Man, and I think this is a good place to leave it for the week. The plots are thickening, as is the stool, and we will see you all next week. Thank you for joining us.
Plots are congealing.